Hey folks, this is Frank Deming, Mr. Market with Ease, and I want to welcome you to this webinar. I am so excited to be presenting this webinar for you. As you know, I've been running this one uh, for this week, and next week as well. I'll be running this webinar um, for you guys so that I can help you start generating some money in your online business. Now, the title of this webinar may sound a little bold, and it says, basically how to guarantee, excuse me, how you earn, $10,000 per month in your home-based business. And a lot of people tell me, "Hey Frank, well, how can you guarantee that? I don't get it. I mean, how can you actually guarantee that someone's gonna do that?" And we're gonna get to that, okay? And that's why it's important that you listen to this webinar, okay? Now, in order for you to understand how to guarantee that you will make at least $10,000 per month in your home based business, you really and truly need to understand why 90% of all home based business online entrepreneurs fail. That's very important. The reason you need to understand that, folks, is because you don't want to do what they do, else that will guarantee your failure. Does that make sense? Good. Now, the other thing that you need to understand is you need to understand how best to ensure that you are part of the 10% that actually succeed. And the way you're going to do that is you have to actually do what they do to succeed. I mean, it's kind of a no-brainer and it probably goes without saying, but I just need to understand. I just need to help you understand this piece because a lot of us miss that, okay? Now, before we get started, folks, you need to put away all distractions. You need to silence your cell phones, turn off your TV, turn off your radio, shut off your Skype, everything. Put the kids away to sleep if it's their bedtime. If it's not their bedtime, fine. Just uh, hang out with them or something like that. But make sure that they're away from your computer. This is not going to be a very long webinar. I'm going to keep it under 90 minutes or so. But as important is I'll keep it as long as you guys get the point across of how important this is for your business. I also want you to grab a pen and paper because I want you to take notes while I provide you with this content. It's a very content rich webinar. So I want you guys to really and truly grasp this concept because it's going to change your life. I also want to talk to you about the way this webinar is going to be run, okay? It's a kind of a semi-interactive webinar in that I don't like to get it, I don't like to ask questions in between. I know you guys have probably been on many webinars that they do that. I don't like to do it. I like to get the flow out. So if you do have a question, just write it down in the box below and it'll send my assistant an email and she will respond to it as quick as possible during this webinar. Okay, she'll she's all the content in this webinar. She's very um, she's very qualified to answer the questions that's going to be on this webinar, so that's not a problem. Now, if we do have time, I will answer a couple of them that's on that came through because I also see the questions that go through. But all questions, just so you know, will be answered. If it's live on this call, it will be later on by me or by my assistant while we're doing this. Okay. Also want to apologize to you guys because I'm fighting a little bit of a cold. So if you hear me a little bit sound a little funny, it's because of my cold, and I apologize for that. But these webinars are very important. That's why I didn't want to cancel them. Okay, very, very, very important that we go through this information for you guys. Very, very important. Now, here's what we're going to cover in this webinar. Number one, we're going to go over the characteristics of every home business online entrepreneur and the characteristics that they do to fail. Again, the reason why that's important is because you don't want to do that. But I want to point it out because it's important that you know what not to do. Very important. It's also equally important that you find out what to do. And that's, I'm going to go over the characteristics of the home business entrepreneurs, what they do to succeed. So it's very important that you find out what to do. Next thing we're going to be talking about in this webinar is the four simple ingredients to living a life of freedom and abundance. Very important, because these four things in a combination with the characteristics that we're going to go over of what the successful people do to succeed, very important if you combine that, okay, and the four simple ingredients, and then you will have freedom and abundance. And the last thing that we're going to do, and this part, the most important topic of this webinar, is I'm going to give you a 7-step system to ensure online success. Now, the reason why the 7-step system is important for you to know, I'll go through the details of why that's important later on in the webinar, but just keep a note in your notepad that you have right next to you right now. Write down 7-step system. Why is important? Frank is promising me to let me know why this is important later on in this webinar. Okay, now let's move on. Now I realize that I'm kind of an under the radar person. I'm kind of an under the radar marketer, if you will. And a lot of you probably don't know me, So I'm going to answer the question that's probably roaming in the heads of some of you here, and that is, who is Frank Deming? And I'm going to tell you that right now. Frank Deming is basically, in a nutshell, an online entrepreneur and a consummate family man who basically dared to leave a 6-figure income job and proceeded to live a life of freedom, abundance, and prosperity. That's, in a nutshell, who I am. But, in the beginning, folks, I got to tell you, my life wasn't smooth. See, I was unhappy and just plain frustrated with my job. I mean, the overwhelming demand on me was increasing year after year and after year, and there was no end in sight of that diminishing whatsoever. I wasn't even getting along with my boss, well, that made it even worse because, going to work was not a chore, if you will. I wasn't happy going in because I knew I had to deal with him and deal with the other issues that I was having. And I think, to be honest with you, the worst thing that I had going on with me in the job was my commute. Um, I live in the Washington, D.C. metropolitan area, and if any of you are familiar with that area, you'll know what I'm talking about. It's not. I mean, it's very congested, and especially in the rush hour time. So I had to deal with that along with the other two things. Now, here's what I used to do for a living back then. Um, I was a program manager for a high-profile government contractor, and that meant managing a plethora of programs at the same time, balancing everything, and basically having to deal with the customer was it was very difficult. It was becoming more and more difficult because the customer was very demanding. My customer was the Department of Homeland Security here in the United States, and it was they were a demanding customer because I had to deal with a lot of IT security programs, and I had to just deal with a lot of stuff that was of high profile and under the radar kind of thing as well. Under the radar for the general public, that is, high profile for us. And it wasn't an easy task. One of the things that was really was really getting me out of under my last nerve, if you will, was those customer deadlines. I mean, I could recall one time that I got a call the day before Thanksgiving, if you will. And can you imagine that, the day before Thanksgiving, getting a call and saying that you had to come in a few hours on Thanksgiving to finish up some paperwork because they called and they changed some of the specs of the program that had us running, and that was unbelievable. Basically, my nights and weekends became non-existent, and the kicker to me of wanting to leave was basically I still remember I signed up about a year before. No, I'm sorry, about 6 months before everything hit haywire. I signed up my daughter to gymnastics. And she was a little bit afraid of the balancing ball. She was a little afraid, and I didn't see the progress. And one afternoon, just on a Saturday, I remember I was kicking back and I was watching television, and she did a cartwheel right in front of me. And I told my wife, I said, "Wow, I mean, I'm missing out on a lot." And I didn't even know she can do this cartwheel. She goes, "Oh yeah, she's progressing well. I told you the other day. I didn't. I know I told you." And you said, "Mm-hmm." And I just wasn't paying attention to her because of the demand. So when that happens, I had to take matters into my own hands and basically said, I need a change. I need some sort of a change because I refuse to lose the opportunity to see my daughter grow up, my family right in front of me grow up, my wife, everybody that was in my inner circle was just passing around, and I was letting it go by me because of my job and my demands. So when I took matters into my own hands, I basically said to myself, okay, what is it that's going to be able to replace my income? How can I replace that income fast and painlessly, if you will? And basically, what I said to myself was, okay, in order for me to replace my income, I had heard that people who start MLM companies, network marketing, they make a lot of money. And I was looking for a six-figure income. I had to. I didn't want to change my lifestyle to the degree that I was going to put my family to the stress, right? So I had to really think about it. So I said, MLM seems like a good way of doing it because all those circles and all that stuff makes sense. A buddy of mine introduced me to it, and I went to a hotel meeting, and it seemed like a good way to go. Now, I don't know if you guys have noticed, but I'm a very low key type of person, and all of those MLM hype meetings was a big turnoff to me. I couldn't deal with it. I was like, man, I would go week after week doing this hype and all this stuff, and it was the turnoff. But I stayed because I knew that the alternative was to stay in the job, and I still stuck with it. I said, well, let me stick with this thing and deal with this MLM, with this hype stuff for a little while at least, and then for a little while I'll change something later, you know what I mean, about it. But I I didn't want to do what they asked me to do. I didn't want to do the whole friends and family recruitment thing because I knew that failed. So what I did was I posted like I had read somewhere that if you post stuff on newspaper ads and stuff like that, you could get some money in your pocket. And I was never able to turn the corner with that model. I kind of I did postings in newspapers. I did some publication postings. I did some flyers in newspapers, news. I'm sorry, and supermarkets, things of that nature, and it kind of worked. I did recruit some people, close some people, but it was not nearly enough to basically grow a business. And a lot of those people kept dropping out. I wasn't influencing them enough, I guess. So it definitely was not the case. I basically failed for 2 years, folks, doing that, and I got really, really frustrated, and it was so frustrating that I actually was contemplating just giving up on that dream, and I was almost like settling and saying to myself, well, maybe my life is just as a program manager, and I should be happy that I have just this program manager job and just serve the company as well as I can and just deal with it, and whenever my daughters and my kids grow up, just apologize, that was my solution. But then there was a light at the end of the tunnel, because I was introduced, or I stumbled upon really, on the internet, just doing some searching about the affiliate marketing business model. And basically, I loved it, guys. It was something that I was doing cartwheels for, and I don't even do cartwheels, but I was so happy. I was like, wow, this is awesome. You mean to tell me that I can make 75% commissions based on everything I sell? I was like, wow, this is awesome, and I didn't have to do any recruiting or convincing, or I definitely didn't have to go to those hype meetings. Basically, I presented a website to someone and they made a buying decision right then and there. It's a similar model to to like the department store companies and stuff like that. So I said, hey, this is exactly what I need. I need to be in an environment where I don't necessarily need all the hype and all that kind of stuff. I let the person make a buying decision. Um, and to me, that was a true business model. Because I said, hey, if you think about it, when you go to Macy's, no one asks you after you buy a product to join the Macy's business and have your own franchise, right? I mean, and that's silly, right? If you go to Subway, that doesn't happen, right? People just buy a buying decision, just make me a sandwich, right? So I was in heaven. I was like, well, I got it, and that was the light at the end of the tunnel. However, folks, I got to tell you something. Although this business model was rock solid and it was a kick butt business model, I basically still failed. And it was I couldn't get it. Yes, I made a few sales here and there on the internet and everything, but nothing near to what I needed to live on. Really, it was basically just covering my expenses of getting the traffic to my website. So it was kind of funny and kind of sad at the same time. And rather than bore you with all the stuff, folks, of what happened to me and what didn't happen to me, so I want to get onto this webinar again. I don't want to make it too long, um, but really, after 3 years of struggling, I was 2 years with MLM and 1 year with affiliate marketing. Success in the online business world came to me in the form of one simple word, and you guys are going to be shocked by how simple it was for me to succeed. In a word, basically, it was mindset, folks. And it's as simple as that. I changed my mindset and I changed my business. I changed the results of my business, better said. And that was it. You see, my mindset allowed me to live a life of freedom and abundance. Quite simple. I mean, and I know a lot of you right now think about, oh, how, and I'm going to get to the how later, but I just want you to understand that a lot of people, a lot of things are stopping a lot of people dead in their tracks is the mindset, and that is so important. Now, I want to share with you my favorite picture. This picture was actually taken by my wife. My home, I live in the DC area, like I said earlier, but my hometown is New York City. That's where I'm from. And the day after I quit, uh, I called in sick. I quit on a Wednesday, and I called in sick on that Thursday. I had to give him a month notice because of my position and everything that I had to do and hand over to my boss and everything. So they told me I had to wait a whole month. But I called in sick the next day anyway, and I told my wife, I said, you know what, it's a beautiful day. It's gonna be a beautiful day. I just heard that in New York it's gonna be a beautiful day. Why don't you take off work as well? Let's go up to New York. I'm gonna take you to let's go to my favorite restaurant, have lunch, and and then just come back and get the kids. So it's about a 4 hour drive from here, from my home to New York. So we did that, and then right after lunch, my wife took that picture of me, and I just wanted to share that story with you, so you know where that story came from. I have one more picture to share with you. This was a blessing. About 6 to 7 months after everything, my wife took this picture of me. I purchased this boat, and it was something. It was just a hobby of mine. I like chilling out. It was something that she and I enjoyed doing. We always used to rent one, and it's got the sunglasses and everything. Was kind of cool. Um, I I had a picture and I couldn't find it. I wanted to share it with you guys this webinar, but I couldn't find it of when I purchased it. So I'm gonna find it and share it with the internet one of these days. But anyway, this was another blessing that I was able to do because of my freedom lifestyle and the abundance that it brings. Now, here's the best part of everything I just shared with you folks. Okay, see, you can achieve the same thing, and that's why we're here today. That's why we're here in this webinar, because you can achieve every single thing that I just shared, my story and the stuff that I've done. I mean, I'm not here to share flashy cars and all that kind of stuff because that's not my character. I just wanted to share a brief story about me so you can understand where I'm coming from. Okay? Now, but again, the best part is that you can do the same thing, and I'm going to show you exactly how. Okay, because I'm going to show you the path to a $10,000 per month business right now. And so get your notes out. So basically, you start if you're starting out with zero. Let's say you have a business and but you haven't gotten it off the ground yet. So let's make some assumptions here before we dig deep in this on this slide. If you start out with zero, your path to 10,000 really you should break it down at a high level. Break it down to you want to reach a goal of 5,000 per month first. Okay, that should be, and this is just, these are high level goals. Okay, and then typically a newbie, brand new guy, never done this before, brand new gal, never done this before, it's usually going to take you guys anywhere between 3 to 10 months. And the reason it's 3 to 10 months, again, it's a huge discrepancy, is because again, I don't know your skill set, and it depends on skill set. And this is just the numbers that I've been working with people on, and this is what they've been bringing it back as they've been bringing this back as a result. So I just took the average of how it took people. The longest I've ever took anybody was 10 months to get to it, and that person had a lot of adversity in their life. And the shortest it ever took anybody is the shortest I ever took anybody is 3 months. So that's where we are with that. Okay. Now the next goal, obviously, is $10,000 per month, and how we're going to get to that. Okay. Um, and typically, here's the good news, folks. Once you get to the $5,000 per month business model, and incidentally, I'm talking about net profits here. Okay, net profit. I'm not saying anything. I'm not including refunds. And yes, there are refunds in business. Don't let anybody tell you otherwise. I'm not including refunds. I'm not including any expenditures that you have. I'm talking about net profits. Okay. Now, the good news is that once you get to that $5,000 per month guide marker, where you're doing it consistently, to get to the $10,000 per month consistently, folks, on average, it's taking people anywhere between 2 to 4 months on average. So the trick is to get to the 5,000 as quick as possible, and that's going to get you to 10,000 within 2 to 4 months. Okay, so that's your path for a $10,000 per month business. I like to be I should be changed my name to the transparent marketer, because I like to be transparent with people. I don't like to tell anybody, hey, you're gonna make money, you're gonna make $10,000 a month in 2 months. It's unheard of, especially if somebody's starting from scratch. Can it be done? Yes. But it's going to take work. Yes. Is it hard work? No, it's not hard work, but it's going to take work. And this is the path that I want to show you. I want to show you that path because it's very important that you understand what it takes to make that. Okay, so let's move on. Because the ugly truth, folks, is I'm going to share something with you that's at least was shocking to me, because this is an ugly truth about everything we just talked about, that path. Okay. See, according to Dun and Bradstreet, I did some research with Dun and Bradstreet, and that's what gave me the idea to bring this webinar to you guys, because I want to share this information. It's very important. See, 90% of people who attempt to start an online business end up failing to make a profit. Okay, and it even gets worse than that, because according to Money Magazine, only 20% of successful online businesses earn 100K or more per year. Now let's dig a little deeper into this data, just so that we're all on the same page here. Okay, all this means that of the mere 10% of the people who are successful in their online entrepreneur career, a measly 20% manage to earn 100K or more in that business. I think we all can agree here that that's not good, and that's not good at all. But the good news is that we're here to fix it, and that's why I want to make sure that you guys understand. We're here to fix this problem on this webinar. Now, I'm sure you're wondering right now, why is that? Why is it? I mean, Frank, you always say, the people who know me say, Frank, but you always say it's so easy to make money online. But why is it? Why are these numbers so gloom? I'm going to get to that right now. Okay. See, because according to the research that I did on Dun and Bradstreet, all the online entrepreneurs who fail do the following actions. So I need you to pay close attention. Get that pen and paper right now and start writing this down, because if this is you, you need to stop doing this, okay? Basically, they all have the I can figure this all out myself mentality. And folks, I got to tell you, that's the wrong attitude to have when you start out on a venture. If you want to succeed, the likelihood of you succeeding on your own quickly is slim to none. Can you succeed on your own? Yeah, but it may take 4 or 5 years. After breaking a few bones here and there, and and falling down, you know, you're gonna frustrate yourself. You're gonna suffer. So if you want to succeed within 12 months, or 18 months, or whatever you want to set your goal, or you can't do it by yourself. And just put it in perspective. Um, when you were first learning algebra, you needed someone to show you how to get a book, and then a teacher was actually showing you. When you first started your first job out of college, you had someone training you so that you understand the process of the business, the company, and whatever. Those are all indications that we all need help. Okay, so and this was funny because every single one of the 90% of the people had this particular trait. So I need you to understand that. Okay, now another thing that they all had as a trait was that they all suffered from information overload. I'm sure everyone on this webinar has heard this before. They get overwhelmed. They're hearing stuff about Google and Yahoo and Facebook and Blogger and all this stuff, and they get overwhelmed. And either that, or they're looking at like two different programs at the same time and listening to a podcast while they're looking at stuff, because they're trying to get to their success quick. And the truth of the matter is, folks, that success is a marathon. It's not a sprint. If you treat it as a sprint, you will get nowhere. Just take that as good advice from me, because I was there. I was once in that sprint. And going back to mindset, when I turned my mindset around and I said to myself, no, I need to follow a structure and get this done, then my success turned around. Okay, so that's very important we understand. What happens when you do the IO stuff, the information overload stuff, is your plan to succeed looks something like this drawing that we have here. That's all like a spaghetti drawing, and you're all over the map, nothing structured. And it should look something like this, which is very structured, very defined. That's like going back to success being a marathon and not a sprint. Just kind of like the tortoise and the hare story. I'm sure you all have heard that story. You have to be methodical. You have to have a plan in place, okay? Now, another thing that they all had in common, all these folks that failed, is that they all went and they bought out these one click to riches programs that I'm sure you've seen. You see, this is today's version of the get rich quick. When I got started, they didn't have a lot of these one click to riches program. They did have a whole bunch of these mail order things that you have get rich quick, that you supposedly mail these postcards and you get $1 million in 2 weeks. I'm sure you've seen that, but now that's turned into the internet, where you have the software that supposedly you click, one click to riches, and you be a millionaire. And they all purchased these things, and that led to their failure. And basically what happens is, they were sold a dream of making instant cash without doing any work. I'm gonna kill that rumor right now, folks. I know a lot of people will probably be upset with me, because I'm actually telling the truth on this webinar. But the fact of the matter is, folks, does online marketing work? Yes, it does. It does it does it take work to make money online? Yes, it does. You can't do it with one click. I'm sorry to burst your bubble, because I know these people have sold you this dream. But the fact of the matter is, you have to do work. You just have to know what kind of work you're doing, but you have to do work. Okay? Now, What ends up happening, folks, with these people is that they ended up frustrated. Basically, they were frustrated because they were sold this dream, and they tried everything in their mind, quote unquote. They tried everything to make it work, but their website doesn't work, and they blame the computer, they blame their website, they blame the people around them, they blame, if they're in an MLM company, they blame the MLM company. If they're selling a home product, they blame the product because the product doesn't convert. And you see, the thing is that success is all about you, and you have to change. I'm going back to mindset because that's so important. You have to understand you're responsible for your success, not the website that you purchase to sell, not the products that you purchase to sell. You're responsible for it. And the moment you realize that, the quicker you'll succeed. Okay, and this is what happens. You just end up frustrated, and then typically of the 90% that fail, they all got wrong advice from unqualified people who don't know a thing about making money online or making money with a home-based business, and they get wrong advice from them, and it just adds to the frustration. It's just it's the thing that cracked me up the most about my research when I did Dun& Bradstreet is that they all had the same pattern. It was almost scary. Okay, now here's the thing. All these folks are still interested in making money online or in a home-based business. But the problem is that their success path looks something like this diagram here. And they start out with zero, and they want to reach at least $1,000 per month, right? And they try something for a month or two, right? And then it doesn't work instantly. So then they go back, and then they try something else for a month or two, and that doesn't work instantly. And then they go back and they try something else for a month or two, and that doesn't work instantly. And then they go back. The thing they don't realize is that every single time they try something and they go back, they start at zero. And when you start at zero, you never, ever, ever reach 1,000 a month, 5,000 a month, or definitely never 10,000 a month if you continue this cycle. It's like it's almost like an omen, if you will, because you never get to the point where you start seeing a dollar coming in. Or even if you do see a dollar or two, it's not enough to change your life, so you move on to something else. Okay. And I know, because I'm not calling anybody out here because this happened to me. So I know. And it's funny because as I was doing my research, I said, wow, that was me a few years ago. Okay, so but the bottom line is, and what I want you to take notice is, the problem is that they never reach this goal. They never reach the 10,000 per month. They never reach the 5,000. They never even got $1,000 a month. They just never did. That's the sad but true thing. Now, see, all of this occurs when you don't have a system. And I'm going back to that because we mentioned the system earlier, but I want you guys to understand that you do need a system in order to succeed. And I'm going to prove to you why in a few minutes. But I'm sure that the number one question that the $1 million question that you have for me right now is, so what do the successful online business entrepreneurs who earn six figures, what do they do that everyone else isn't doing? Okay, and I'm going to get to that right now. And it's a real simple answer, folks. Basically, is this: they basically seek help from someone who has been where they are and that can show them a system to get them to where they want to be. Okay, and basically, folks, it's as simple as that. I'm sure a lot of you right now are probably thinking, well, it can't be that simple, but I think that's the problem. I think a lot of folks think that success is so hard and it can't be as simple as that, that they just turn off and then go on to somebody else, to show them, to lie to them, to tell them, no, 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 you can do it with one click of the mouse or two clicks of the mouse. But it's as simple as that, what I just said. Find someone that can show you exactly where you need to be. But the kicker is, he or she has to have been where you are right now. the pain that you're feeling right now or the desire that you're feeling right now, this person has to have experienced it at some point in their life as well. Okay, that's very important. Now, because in order to succeed in business world, I got to tell you one thing. This is very important. In order for you to succeed, you need the following. You need a clear path with a step-by-step system to success. Very important. You need that clear vision. If you don't have it, you're not gonna go anywhere. And only someone can show you how to do that. If you've never done this before, you're not gonna know. Another thing that you need is you need to know the hidden challenges that you will be faced with before they hit you. You see, it's very important that you understand that. And again, you need someone to show you what they are, especially if you're going into this first. Another thing that you need to know is to have the knowledge that's necessary to turn your business into a high profit machine. And what I'm talking about here basically, folks, is automation. If you want to live a life of freedom and abundance, you need to be able to automate that process so that you're not always working on your business. And that's very important, okay? Now, the other thing that's very, very important you need to do is you need to take immediate action. Folks, I'm going to repeat myself a lot on this webinar, but it's important that you understand action determines the miracle. The, if you if you listen to this webinar and you don't take any action based on what you're hearing on this webinar, then it means nothing. Then it's just information going into your ears, and you say, "Oh, okay, that was nice," and you did nothing. You're not going to get any results. It's not going to be any different from yesterday. So you got to take immediate action. That's just a little tip for you. Okay. No, that's not all, though, folks. That is not all, because you also need to know and utilize the four ingredients to freedom and abundance. And this is what I was talking to you in the beginning. We're going to marry this up with what the person, with the characteristics of what the successful people do. Okay, we're going to marry this up. Okay, now watch this. I want you to get your pens and your pens and paper ready. That's why Paul, in case you put it down and you walked away, you didn't listen to me, and you walked away because you had to take care of something, the baby's crying, whatever. I'm giving you an opportunity right now to go get your pen and paper ready, because I'm going to show you the four ingredients to abundance and freedom. Okay, here you are. Now, number one, you need to market what your passion is, folks. This is ultra important. If you market something just because you know it makes money, okay, let's say you want to market weight loss only because you know that a weight loss niche, it makes a lot of money, and it's not going to work for you. Okay, it really isn't. You have to market what your passion is. I can't stress that enough. That's very important. Number two, you need to understand the three pillars of success. And I'm going to give you what those three pillars are right now. So please, please get those papers ready, pen and papers ready. Mindset is A. You need to understand mindset and the power of what your mindset can bring you in your life. B, you need to understand marketing. Now, when you have the right mindset, B is easy. Marketing is ultra simple. Once you have what once you know what your mind can bring you, the marketing piece is simple. Okay? And C, communication mastery. Again, all pillared up together. Mindset is first, understanding marketing, and then the communication is a slam dunk after all of that. Now, the number three ingredient for freedom and abundance is basically thinking in terms of long term. Now, what I mean by that is basically you need to begin with the end in mind. Every single thing that you're going to do in your marketing pieces, in your business, you have to begin with the end in mind. Once you do that, the end outcome of what you're looking for is easier to appear. 10 times easier to appear once you work. A lot of people work bottom up. Okay, start from here and then go up. That's the wrong thing to do. Begin with the end in mind, and you'll get to that end a lot quicker than you think. I could do a whole webinar just on that, to be honest with you, but we'll stop it from here. Number four is learn how to deal with adversity, folks. In business, in life, really, in life, you're gonna have adversity. You're gonna have problems. You're gonna run into issues. You're gonna run into, people you don't like, things of that nature. The people who learn how to deal with that type of adversity always succeed. Always. The people who dwell on it and refuse to move forward and refuse to do XYZ and all that kind of stuff, they tend to just not make it. Sad but true, but that's the deal. That's it's as simple as that. You need to learn how to deal with adversity. It's not every single time that you put up a website that's gonna give you an abundance of traffic. It's what you do with that adversity that is gonna give you that abundance of traffic. And if you're gonna sit there and cry over spilt milk, when something doesn't go your way, you're not going to be successful. I mean, I'm here to tell you the truth, folks. I'm not here to be your friend. I'm not here to lie to you either. I'm here to tell you the truth of what it takes to build a true business online or offline. Okay, very important. Now, you have to understand something. If you apply these four ingredients, okay, along with understanding the characteristics of what the successful people do, basically look for someone who has been where they are. There's nothing that this can lead you to but one thing, and that's success. Understand that, folks. Once you have that in your arsenal, there's nothing gonna stop you, and you will succeed without doubt. Okay. Now, I'm sure you're probably thinking, what does all this have to do with me, right? What does all have to do with you personally? Like, say, okay, Frank, what's it got to do with me, right? I'm sure you're asking that, and I'm gonna get to that, okay, folks. I promise you, I'm gonna get to that. I'm gonna get to that very, very, very soon. Because it became evident to me that the successful entrepreneurs all had a system, okay? Every single one of them had a system. And they all followed the system to succeed. It's one thing to have a system and again make it look pretty on the shelf. And it's another thing to use the system. You got to follow the system and you'll succeed, guaranteed. Now, according to the Entrepreneur and Forbes magazine, I read these two articles. They were different but yet similar. They had very similar content in them. According to those two very reputable sources, 93% of people who start a franchise business actually succeed. And franchise, McDonald's, Burger King, yada, 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 Subway. So 93% of them succeed. Now, we all know it takes a lot of money to start a franchise, right? And it takes like almost no money to start a home-based business in comparison to a franchise. But yet 93% of them succeed. And that's only because there's a system that once they buy the business and have a location and all that stuff to sell, there's a system already in place. And all they have to do is plug into the system and they're done. Right? Now, going back to your question that you asked earlier, what's in it for you? Because I know all of you is say, okay, well, so what's in it for you, right? I know all of you are asking that question. I'm gonna answer that right now because I'm gonna give you the 7-step system to online success. Okay, so again, get your pen and papers ready. This is the 7-step system that you're gonna use for your own business and start succeeding. Okay, now the more important thing about that though, not only are you gonna start succeeding, you're also I'm gonna also show you with the 7-step system how to build a 10K per month business because that's what this system does. I mean, repeatedly, it does this without doubt, without anyone who have used this who's used it. Understand that who's used this system has never failed, and not only that, has never failed to make less than 10,000 per month. Very important that you understand it. Okay. Now, number one, you must have a passion to best serve your customer. Now, here's what I mean by that. if you go back to the four ingredients to freedom and abundance, I said the number one thing is that you must market what you're passionate about. But let's just say you market what you're passionate about, right? But you don't care about your customer. And I've seen that. I mean, let's say I've seen people who market weight loss. Going back to that niche, and they really like the whole weight loss thing. They have this exercise regimen that works for them, but they could care less if their customer does it or not. They just want to sell them this product or this exercise kit or whatever, and they don't follow up with the customer, or whatever that is. They don't care about it. It's not a good thing. You have to generally care about what best serves your customer. Okay, so that's very, very important. That's why it's number one. The number two system, seven-step system is, see, you must create an offer that your potential customer cannot refuse. Now, what I mean by that is you have to create a product that's either free or very low cost. Create a product or buy a product or something to sell, that's either free or very low cost. But I mean by very low cost, it's got to be anywhere between, I don't know, 10 to $30 or something like that. That's usually a sweet spot, you know. But you have to create that. You have to create a product that's either free or very low cost that they cannot refuse. Okay, and it's got to be of value and very, very beneficial for the customer. Okay, now number three is you must properly build your sales funnel. And by what I mean by that is you have to have a step ladder approach to sales. Basically, you have your entry offer. You have to have some other offer like in the middle, mid-range price. Then you have to have a high-end offer, or maybe even a higher-end offer, and then a higher-end offer, and it keeps going up from there. Okay, so you have to build that. Okay, now number four is you have to create a lead generation website, a squeeze page. Yeah, you're gonna have a website that's gonna represent your company, but you have to have a separate website where you capture the leads. Okay, it's very important that you do that because you have to understand who are the people who are coming into your funnel. You have to understand who they are and you have to communicate with them, which leads me to number five. You have to create a follow-up system. Talk to them. How to talk to your customers. Get them to go to your store, whether it's a virtual store or it's a physical store, brick and mortar business. You have to know how to lure them in. Number six, you must have you must use your personality to bond with your customer. Here's what I mean by that. Let's say again, let's stick to the weight loss niche. Let's say you market a weight loss niche and you're trying to be like Jillian, Jillian, the exercise queen lady. Um, you're not gonna make it because that's Jillian's personality. You have to incorporate your personality to your market, and that way you can bond with that person. Okay, that's very important that you do that. And the number seven thing to your seven-step process for a system is to get quality traffic. Now, here's the importance of this seven-step system, and please study this. And if you haven't if you haven't taken note of this, I'm gonna give you a big tip right now. Okay, the last thing I listed was get traffic, quality traffic. Very important that you understand that why this is last. Okay, the reason it's last is because you don't want to send traffic from all over the place if your system's not ready. And a lot of people get this wrong, and this is why a lot of people fail. If steps one through six are not set yet, don't do step seven. Okay, again, going back to the franchise thing, remember, everybody has a system. They all have, if you go to McDonald's, there's a set system there, and it's the same way every single McDonald's. The only thing that changed are the people who are serving you. Same thing with Subway. And this is the same thing here, folks. This is a seven-step online success system that anyone can just plug into. Okay? So, again, I'm going to repeat myself. If one through six are not done, do not do seven because you will fail. And a lot of people fail when they do that. So you got to set up one through six first. Now, number one is important. You got to have a passion. You have to, okay, when you have a passion to best serve your customer, this is simple. everything else will fall into place. You can do number two, three, four, five, and six in a matter of no time. So I would say the most critical step here is number one. But that's just me. Okay, I hope you guys take notes and start doing this in your own business. Okay, now I know probably a few of you are thinking that's a lot, right? But I'm here to tell you not really. Okay, because you just need someone to sit with you and strategize how you can implement this strategy in your business, in your own business, in your particular niche. Okay? Very, very easy to do. And that's all you need, right? Because you need somebody to show you how to create your own entry offer because you probably don't know how to do that. Okay, I'm sure you have a lot of questions swinging in your head right now saying, okay, well, and I see a couple of questions coming through the panel, which I'll get to some of them at the end. But it says here, how do you create that entry offer? You need someone to show you how to do that. You need someone to show you how to build your sales funnel. Very important. You need someone to hold your hand to show you how to do that, but you have to have one. If you don't have one, you will fail, guaranteed. You need to someone to show you how to build a squeeze space, a proper squeeze space, something that's attractive to your customer. You need to show how someone to show you how to follow up properly with your customer. You need to understand this. This is a mindset thing. You need to understand how to properly follow up with them because once you do that, the money comes in twofold, guaranteed, folks. Last but not least, you need someone to show you how to get the quality traffic that actually converts. How is that done? How does that traffic convert into money? So you need someone to show you how to do that, right? Okay. Now, because of all of this information that I just shared with you, and all the information that I went through with Dun and Bradstreet, the failure rate was really bothering me, and the fact that I know so many people need help. I basically went on a mission to help as many home business online entrepreneurs succeed as possible. That was my mission. I was like, I gotta change this thing. This is bothering me because I really care. So I thought about creating a rock solid, internet marketing course that shows all home business entrepreneurs how to truly build a successful home-based business online. I was like, yeah, this is a great idea. I'm gonna change the world with this. But then, see, there was a couple of issues with that idea. And A is because I was thinking, okay, well, who really needs another home study course that shows people how to make money online? I think we need that like we need a hole in the head. I think we all agree with that one, right? B, I said, okay, well, there are some core competencies that needed to be addressed before anything. So is the online business course really gonna address all of these things that I had? There were some very core competencies with it. You see, because it became evident that people who weren't successful all need to know how to convert themselves from an employee to an entrepreneur. And that is so key. That thing is unbelievably key because although we were born with the entrepreneur um, spirit and mindset, we were robbed of it early and we were converted into the employee mindset. So it's basically mindset is key. So I said a course isn't going to do that. A course is not going to really show you how to convert yourself. It's not. It really isn't. And they also need to know and understand marketing before they learn how to market on the internet. A course typically doesn't do that either. Okay, it gives you some tidbits here and there, but it doesn't really, really get into the heart, to the guts of marketing, really. So I decided to go back to the drawing board and dig a little deeper into my Dun and Bradstreet research, and I wanted to get some data that was going to give me the answer to how best I can serve you guys. Okay, now I made my decision a few months ago. And instead of creating yet another internet marketing course that we all know no one needs anymore, I decided to help this disturbing 90% failure rate that's haunting every single home business entrepreneur in the following way, because I don't know about you, 90% really bothers me. It really, really bothers me, and I really want to do something about it. So here's how I plan on fixing that problem. I'm going to give you the opportunity to meet with me one on one over the phone. And the way I'm going to do that, I created what I'm calling the Winner Circle Online Business Strategy Session. Okay? And now I know what you're probably asking, what is a Winner Circle Online Business Strategy Session, right? Well, before I tell you what that is, I want to share a couple of things with you. I want to share with you what, um, who is it for, and who it isn't for, because I want to be ultra clear with what this thing is. So before I tell you what it is, I'm going to show you who is it for, and who isn't for. Okay, who it's not for. It's not for the business opportunity seeker. Okay, the get rich quicker, the people who purchase those one click to wonders programs and still think that that's the way to go. If that's you, then this isn't for you, because this online business strategy session is all about creating a strategy for success for you. And that strategy has nothing to do with get rich quick, and it has nothing to do with that one click to wonder thing. So if you bought it and you junked it, and you know that that isn't the way to go, then fine, we can talk. But if you still bought it and you're still clicking away and trying to get those $1 million, then this isn't for you. This isn't also It's also not for someone who's not serious about making at least $10,000 per month in the online business within 12 months. See, I only have time for people who who, who really truly want to transform their lives. And I know what a $10,000 per month business can do for you. Um, yeah, and that's just the start. I mean, $10,000 a month is nothing, but if you want to achieve that within the next 12 months, then that's then I want to talk to you. But if you're only looking for a couple of bucks here and there, this is probably not for you, because it's very intense to get this work. Yeah, so I'm going to be honest with you. Now, who this is for? It's for someone who has a business or a business idea in mind, and is looking to leave their job within the next 12 months, but need a proper guidance on how to market the business. This is definitely for you. You're going to benefit tremendously with this online business strategy session. Another person that this is for is the newbie online marketer. And if you're new to online marketing, you're kind of just getting, feeling yourself way around and just getting started, but you have a burning desire to make it happen, and you stop at nothing to ensure that, your success. This is for you. This is also for the intermediate online marketer, someone who made some money online but just can't get past a certain amount of money per month. This is definitely for you, because shoot, I can get you that 10. If you've done this already, this is, within 3 to 4 months, I could get you to where you need to be. And this is also for the local business owner seeking to aggressively put their business online. Okay, so that's who this is for, guys. Okay, now I'm going to show it to you what we're going to be talking about. All right, so I'm sure you're saying, okay, so what does this entail? We got that out of the way, so now what does this entail, right, Frank? Right? Okay, here it is. Basically, what we're going to be talking about is I'm going to create a clear vision, crystal clear vision, for your ultimate business success and the perfect lifestyle that your business will provide you. Okay, that's very important. That vision is part of our discussion. Um, Most of the times, whatever you see in your head will appear with the proper process. So that's what we have to clear, that we have to create that vision for you. Okay. We're also going to uncover some hidden challenges that could be sabotaging the growth of your business. Um, if, like, for instance, if you've been thinking about growing this business for 2 years and you've never got started, we're gonna uncover some of those hidden challenges, because once you identify that, and once that thing surfaces and is out of the way, we're going to put you in profit fast. I mean, at the click of a mouse. And I'm not talking about one click to wonder stuff, but at a click of a mouse, I'm going to show you exactly how to overcome those hidden challenges. Okay, very, very important. And then we're going to be leaving this session renewed and re-energized and inspired, basically, to turn your business into a highly profitable revenue generating machine. And I'm going to show you exactly how to practically run it by itself. Okay, automation is key, folks. I'm going to show you how to automate all of that 7-step process that we talked about earlier. So when you leave that session, you're going to have a plan in place to have that done, but to automate it. Okay, but it's very, very important that you do that and you have this, you take notes. So that's what we're going to be talking about. I'm also going to have you discover the one simple step that you can take immediately to get into action. Again, I'm going to repeat myself. Action determines the miracle. Okay, if if you come out of this session and you don't take action, then it was just a winner circle strategy session. It wasn't even, it was just a strategy session. It was just a conversation between two individuals trying to get something done. That's all it was. But if you come out of this session and you start immediate action, you will see how quickly you get results. And that I can guarantee you, folks. But you have to take action. Again, I repeat myself, action determines the miracle. Okay, very important that you understand that. Now, last but not least, I'm going to talk to you exactly how to guarantee that you will earn at least $10,000 a month in the next 12 months. Very simple. I'm going to show you exactly how to do that on this conversation. Now, I want to prove something to you of how effective the strategy session is. So before putting it, before even putting it out there on this webinar, I wanted to sit down with a couple of marketers out there that had a burning desire to make it happen. They were already in my inner circle, but they were struggling. They were new to my inner circle. They were struggling. So I wanted to put the strategy session to the test. And I spoke to 10 home business entrepreneurs that had this burning desire. I said, okay, let me, before I even make a webinar about it, let me do this. Now, here are the results, folks. And in a word, it was outstanding. I mean, every single one of them reached their goal. They reached the $10,000 mark gold. Some of them did it within 4 months to 5,000, and then the rest 2 to 4 months to 10,000, and then some of them did it with 7 months, and then then once you get to the $5,000 per month goal, guys, you can easily make it to the 2 to 4 the $10,000 per month goal. It's very simple. Okay, now here are a few testimonials, folks, about this strategy session that we talked about. First, there was Emily, and she's in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. And Emily was a character because she said, before learning some of the techniques that Frank has taught me about driving traffic and making sales online, I was a total dummy on the computer. He had so much patience with me and taught me everything I needed to know in order to make sales online effortlessly. I got off to a slow start, but it was mainly because I was deathly afraid of making any sales, of not making any sales. Um, and then once I got over that initial fear, I realized that if I didn't do what he was asking me to do, I couldn't succeed. Well, to make a long story short, I made my first sale online within 2 months of consistently applying Frank's techniques. Within 6 months of applying his techniques, I was consistently collecting over $3,200 per month simply by applying his methods. All I can say is thanks, Frank. You saved my marriage by showing me these techniques. Now, she was having some issues with her husband, and she shared them with me, in a private one-on-one conversation. And I think she was one of those get rich quickers that kept buying program after program after program, and she overcame that problem. Got some rock solid marketing advice from me, and she turned her business around. Well, actually, she turned her life around. Another testimonial here was a gentleman, Chris, who lives in Rockville, Maryland, which is right up the street from me. And this was an interesting story because I kind of met Chris in a parking lot because he was a handyman and he was handing out some flyers. And it was funny because I told him, hey, you could, you guys can read it here. I said, hey, you could do a better job at that. I mean, you can market your business online. I was being very sarcastic, and I said, ever heard of the internet? And he kind of frowned and everything, but he did call me in 4 months, and he was still struggling. And basically, what he says is he taught me how to drive traffic to my website, and I now have more customers that I know what to do with. In fact, I actually have a team that helps me cater to the demand that has come my way. And he says, "Thanks for saving my business, Frank." I mean, he was really swimming. He wasn't getting any kind of results with handing out flyers in parking lots, obviously. Another testimony was from a lady named Dorothy, and she's from Iowa. And basically, she sold insurance. Um, and it was an interesting niche, and she was a naysayer. She was a tough person to convince in this business, but she had nowhere to turn. I mean, it was failing. Um, and she joined my coaching program, and her insurance business turned around. You could read all the stuff that she's got here, and this was an email that she sent me. And she's getting leads all day long, and she's actually handing over potential clients to other agents that are in her area, because she's got so much demand. So that's Dorothy. Then it was Christina, and Christina was, she wanted to learn SEO, because she didn't have enough money to pay for traffic. So I said she wanted to know how do you get traffic without paying, and I kind of taught her a few things. And in 12 days, she was on the first page of Google, and she was actually collecting leads, and she was so happy. And that was just a few small testimonials that I wanted to share with you guys. There were more, but I don't want to make this webinar too long again. Now, I know what you probably think. Well, so how much is, the winner circle strategy session, right? But before I tell you how much this strategy session is, ask yourself this question. What is it worth to actually know that finally you will succeed with your home-based business? Better yet, what is it worth to know that that you will be earning 10 grand a month with your home-based business within no time? Furthermore, what is it worth to know that you have someone instructing you step by step on how to structure your home based business for success? I mean, what's that worth to you? I want you to think about that. What is that worth to you? Because as I said, I'm on a mission, folks, to help as many online entrepreneurs succeed as humanly possible. But here's the fact, and the reality is that I can only work with a few of you at a time. I mean, that's the reality. I mean, I'm only one person. Therefore, for those of you who take immediate action, for the first 30 of you who take immediate action today, okay, you have to take immediate action today and request a Winner Circle online business strategy session. I'm going to give it to you 100% free. That's right, 100% free. You get a chance to sit down with me. We're going to structure your business. We're going to talk about the 7 system. I'm going to set up your 7 system to success. And we're going to take it further. We're going to take you to success, folks. 100% free for the first 30 people who request it. Now, all you got to do right now is I'm opening the doors, okay, guys? And all you have to do right now is I want you to head over to mybusinessstrategysession.com. You can open up a new browser and type that in, or there's a button that might have popped up that says more information. If you click on that button, it's going to take you to the same website, mybusinessstrategysession.com. Okay, that button should appear. If it doesn't appear for whatever reason, I mean, technology is not perfect these days. Just open up a new browser and head on over to mybusinessstrategysession.com. That's mybusinessstrategysession.com. Now, here's what's going to happen when you head over there. You're going to see a page. There's a video of me there. Listen to the video. and simply just fill out the form. This is a very simple, short form. Once you do that and you hit the submit button, my assistant will be contacting you within the next 24 hours to schedule an appointment with me. My calendar fills up rather quickly, so I won't hesitate on that. And she'll give you first come, first serve availability kind of thing. So just if the early bird gets the worm, if you will. So once you do that, she'll call you and we'll get this rocking and rolling. Now, very, very important for you guys to remember this, okay? I only have time to work with the first 30 ultra serious people. Okay, so if you're looking to put your business on the positive side of the business equation, then you head over to that website right now that you see above, mybusinessstrategysession.com, or click on the button below. It'll take you to that site and fill out the form. Request a Winner Circle business online business strategy session with me. We'll get your business on the positive side of it. Okay, we'll be ready to rock and roll in no time. Now, in conclusion, folks, wanted to wrap up a few things before we get to question and answers. Okay, because it looks like we're gonna have some time for that. See, you got to remember, all of the 90% who failed in their online business ventures never sought out help. Never. They all try to do it themselves. They went to that loop around process, trying this program, jumping from program to program, information overload, no structure to their plan. They all failed. All of the 10% who succeeded all sought out and got help. They got help from someone who's been where they are today and can take them to where they need to be tomorrow. And this is why I'm offering this killer offer for you, a free strategy session with me where I'm going to put you exactly where you need to be. mybusinessstrategysession.com. Last but not least, the bottom line, folks, is that you need a system to succeed in business. Okay, and I'm going to show you that system. I basically already showed you the system on this webinar. You just need to implement it. And if you're having problems implementing that, if you heard that before and you're having problems implementing that system we just shared, this is your opportunity, folks. mybusinessstrategysession.com. Request a Winner Circle online business strategy session with me. My assistant will give you a call, schedule that appointment, and we're ready to rock and roll and put you on that positive side. Okay, folks. Now we've reached the point of question and answers. I'm just going to read. I'm going to see if I get like two or three. We've been on this webinar for quite some time. I don't want to keep everybody, up so long. But as promised, I would go over a couple of questions here. The first question that I saw here that came to me is from Mr. Edson Perez. Edson wrote, and this is a kind of a funny question. He goes, "Okay, Frank, why is it free? What's the catch?" Um, Good question there, Edson. Interesting. The reason it's free is because I care about really turning that this issue around. It's really bothersome to me to it's really bothersome to me to see a failure rate so high on something that's very simple. And I know the reason why the failure rate is so high is because there aren't enough honest people out there to teach these strategies to you. So that's the reason it's free, because I really want to help as many people as possible, at least get you started in the right direction. Okay, I hope that answers your question. Okay, there's a lady named Kay who wrote, okay, I'm in. I just signed up. Thank you very much, Kay. Um, I'm in the boating niche. Do you think you can help me? Well, Kay, you said you signed up. The boating niche. I don't know what you mean. That's a little broad there, but I again, these strategy sessions are free. We can sit down. I'll talk to you about a couple of things. If it's something that I can't make work, No problem. You know, if I can't make it work, I'll tell you I can't make it work. Boating niche is very vague. I don't know what you mean. I don't know what your position. I don't know if you're selling boats. I don't know if you're selling boat rides. I don't know what you're doing. So, but I think I can make anything work. But I need to sit down with you, person. Really and truly, to be honest with you, any niche will work. The only niches I can't see make working is like the commodities niche, something like light bulbs or milk or something like that. Like if you have a rare cow that that produces this rare breed of milk, let's say, that causes that cures cancer, something like that. I don't know how powerful that is because I don't know how many people are looking for that. So I can't really I can't really say if I can make that work. But this boating thing, I take it as a challenge. I see that you signed up already, so looking forward to sitting down with you, and we'll figure out a strategy for you. Okay. Um, Next question was by Olivia Rodriguez, and she's asking, how long is the session? Funny. Good question, Olivia. It depends. It's either anywhere between an hour to an hour and a half. We got to get to the point where we at least structure a nice little strategy for you. Okay. So that answers that. I said two or three questions, but some of these questions are pretty good. I want to share it with a lot of people. There's a Robert Jennings who's asking, um, will we be discussing how to get quality traffic? Um, yeah, I mean, I'm going to give you a couple of tips on where to get the traffic and all that kind of stuff and how to go about it. And so, yeah, to answer your question, yes, we will be discussing that. Um, and I see, Robert, also that you signed up. I can get all that stuff. Let's see if I get one more in here. Again, I don't want to keep you guys too late. And if you haven't get your if you have not gotten your questions read, again, I will either answer them after this webinar or my assistant will. Okay. Ivy is asking, will this work for my son's sporting good store? Well, I'll tell you what, Ivy. Why don't you? I mean, again, this is a free session, and if you don't, if it's something that's not going to be working, if that's not going to work for you, then it won't work for you. But it's only going to cost you an hour to find out, right? I don't know. I I don't have a problem. I mean, sporting goods stores are easy to sell, I think. Um, and if he's having a problem with, getting vendors and stuff like that, I can definitely show him how to how to grow his online presence so that his doors are knocking his doors his revolving door never stops, if you will. But he I would ask that you I'm not sure if he's on here or not, but if he is, I would ask that he attends the online business strategy session, not you, especially if it's for him, because there's certain actions that he has to do, unless you're going to do the marketing for him. But then again, sign up for the strategy session, and we can discuss that. That being said, folks, I'm going to end the strategy session now. For those of you who are on the fence still about this, um, I just want to let you know that already 16 people have signed up, which means there's only 14 left. I'm sorry, 16 people have signed up already. So I'm not 14 left. I'm sorry, my math is off. Actually, no, my math is right. There's 14 left. So anyway, so I wouldn't hesitate on this thing. Just keep moving forward, and I doubt that by the time the clock strikes 12 tonight on Eastern time, I doubt that there are going to be more left. So I wouldn't hesitate on this, folks. Head on over to mybusinessstrategysession.com and let's get your business on the positive side. With that note, I'm going to end this webinar. Take care, folks, and bye for now.